There comes a moment in every life when the world goes silent, not because nothing is happening, but because something inside is waking up. It is the stillness before the storm of change, the pause between who you were and who you are about to become. You feel it when you're alone with your thoughts. No distractions, no noise, no one else's voice drowning out your own. Just you and the truth is this: you were not put on this earth to merely exist. You were born with the raw material of greatness. The question is not whether you have the potential. The question is, will you decide who you will become? Because everything begins the moment you decide. Not when the world gives you permission, not when the timing feels perfect, not when the fear is gone. It begins when you draw a line in the sand, plant your flag, and say with conviction, "This is who I will become, and nothing, not time, not failure, not fear will stop me." This is not a soft wish. This is not a fleeting motivation. This is a declaration of war on everything that has held you back. On every excuse, every doubt, every hesitation, every version of you that lived small so others could feel comfortable. Decide, and when you decide, the world doesn't change for you immediately. You change, and that changes everything, because history doesn't remember the ones who waited to feel ready. It remembers the ones who had a vision and the courage to walk toward it, even when the road was fogged with uncertainty. Edison wasn't handed a light bulb. He decided to bring light into darkness. He failed over 1,000 times, but each time his decision remained unchanged. Henry Ford didn't wait for the world to understand him. He decided that every man and woman, not just the rich, deserved to drive. The world laughed. Banks denied him, but he stayed the course and changed history. Disney was told he lacked imagination, fired from a newspaper job for having no creative ideas, but he decided that magic was real and that the world would one day believe it too. And Lincoln, broken, ridiculed, defeated over and over again still, decided that he would serve something greater than himself, that even in the storm of a divided nation, a single man could hold fast to purpose. Their greatness was not a gift. It was not luck. It was not timing. It was decision, followed by relentless, unshakable belief. So the question returns to you: who will you become? Not who have you been trained to believe you are. Not who your past says you deserve to be. Not the sum of your mistakes. Not the reflection in the mirror on your worst days. Not the voice that whispers you're too late, too old, too broken, too flawed. Erase all of that. Strip it down to the foundation, because you are not here to repeat what's been done. You are here to create what's never been seen. But creation begins with clarity, and clarity begins with decision. There is no freedom in hesitation. There is no power in passivity. You will not drift your way into destiny. You will only arrive through decision. Conscious, committed, soul, deep decision. So take your mind off of what you lack. Take your eyes off of what hasn't happened yet, and lock in. Lock into the version of you that must be built. That version is not waiting on the outside. That version is inside you now, buried beneath layers of fear, buried beneath years of being told to be realistic, to stay in your lane, to play it safe. But you were not made to fit in. You were made to lead. You were made to carve paths through the wilderness, not wait for roads to be paved. You were made to believe in something so deeply, it lights a fire in your gut and makes you run when others sleep. You were made to see things that don't yet exist, to feel the weight of vision pulling you forward like gravity. This is not motivational fluff. This is not blind optimism. This is the law of those who build empires, who reshape industries, who write their names into time. There is no power stronger than the human being who has decided. So decide now, who will you become, not later, not someday, now, because here's the reality: indecision is a decision. It is a choice to remain bound. A choice to let the world choose for you, but you already know how that path ends. You've seen what it looks like to live a life designed by fear, sculpted by doubt, ruled by regret. You've seen people go to their graves full of dreams they never pursued, full of songs they never sang, books they never wrote, lives they never truly lived. Don't let that be you. Don't let potential rot in the graveyard of maybe. Decide, because decision is the root of discipline. You don't wake up motivated every day. No one does, not the champions, not the leaders, not the legends. But what they do wake up with is decision. And that decision creates momentum. Momentum creates energy. Energy creates action. And action creates transformation. You are not here to wait for inspiration. You are here to ignite it. So stop asking for permission. Stop scanning the world for signs. You are the sign. Your breath is proof that there is purpose in you, and that purpose demands expression. So decide. Who will you become? The one who blends in, the one who doubts, the one who lets the pain of the past chain them to a smaller story, or the one who rewrites it all, who breaks the cycle, who flips the script, who declares, I was made for more, and I will live like it. You were made for more, and you will live like it. Because once you've decided who you will become, the question is no longer if. The question is now how far. There's a rare kind of power that lives in people who commit not just with their words, but with their entire existence. A fire that doesn't just burn it consumes every excuse, every obstacle, every hesitation. This isn't about pretending the path is easy. It's not. It never was. But no mountain has ever bowed to a man who stood still. The summit belongs to those who keep climbing when the air gets thin, when the world tells them to turn back, when their legs tremble and their lungs scream and the storm shows no mercy, and they still say, I will not stop until I stand at the top. That's belief. And belief is not some shallow affirmation. Belief is the engine behind destiny. It's the invisible force that makes a man face the impossible and grin like it's already done. Andrew Carnegie didn't just believe in steel. He believed in vision. When no one else saw it, when no one else understood it, he held the blueprint in his mind and burned it into the world. Steve Jobs didn't wait for a trend to follow. He believed in what didn't yet exist. He imagined a future and dragged the present forward to meet it. You have that same power, the same ability to imagine with clarity and execute with intensity, but clarity doesn't come from noise, it comes from intent. It comes from the stillness of a mind that has chosen its mission and will not be moved, and this is where most people lose. They don't lack talent, they don't lack intelligence, they lack clarity. They chase 10 things at once and catch none. They confuse movement with progress, activity with purpose. But when you decide who you will become, the fog lifts. You no longer wonder what to do, you know. You no longer ask for permission, you move. You no longer need the world to believe in you, because you do, and that kind of clarity cuts through chaos like a blade. It doesn't matter if you came from nothing. It doesn't matter if no one ever showed you the way. The way appears the moment you become unshakably clear about your destination. That clarity fuels vision. Vision is the architect of achievement. Vision sees what isn't there yet. It sees the masterpiece inside the marble. It sees the empire in the blueprint. It sees the legacy before the world even knows your name. Without vision, people perish. With vision, they build. So if you want to change your life, you don't start with your environment. You don't start with the people around you. You don't start with the job, the money, or the external world. You start with the picture in your mind, because what you picture, you will pursue, and what you pursue with obsession, day after day, becomes real. Your mind is the soil, your vision is the seed, and the discipline, the daily grind, the small decisions no one sees. That is the sunlight, the rain, the cultivation. Don't just visualize for 5 minutes and call it belief. Live it, walk in it, act like it's already unfolding, because it is. See yourself stronger, sharper, wiser. See yourself with a heart that refuses to quit and a mind that bends reality through sheer will. See it, feel it, move in alignment with it. You want to be legendary, then act like it now. Not when you make it, not when the world claps now. Every move, every morning, every choice. Act like the version of you who already became undeniable. Because that version is not a fantasy. That version is a decision away. The world won't give it to you. You have to take it. Take it by becoming it. By becoming the one who does not flinch when life gets heavy. By becoming the one who rises earlier, who works longer, who sacrifices comfort for cause. You must discipline your mind, because a mind without discipline is a tyrant. It wanders, it doubts, it deceives. It tells you you're tired when you've barely started. It tells you you're failing when you're only in process. It feeds you every reason to give up, because it fears the unknown more than it fears mediocrity. But when you command your mind, truly command it, everything changes. You stop negotiating with weakness. You stop entertaining limitations. You stop chasing feelings and start creating results. And that's what separates those who watch history from those who make it. So burn this into your soul, the man or woman you admire, the one who inspires awe, the one whose name echoes in rooms long after they're gone. They were not born special. They were born committed, and you have that same power. The question is, will you use it? You were not sent here to live a life of quiet frustration, to shrink, to hide, or to conform. You were sent here to create, to command, to become something only you can build. Greatness does not arrive, it is forged. Forged in early mornings when no one's watching. Forged in lonely nights when the world is asleep and you're still working. Forged in the 1,000 silent decisions that no one will applaud, but you will remember. Discipline is the sculptor of destiny. It's not glamorous. It's not loud. It doesn't post about itself, but it builds empires while the undisciplined wait for motivation. Think of Thomas Edison over 1,000 failures before the light bulb. 1,000 nights where doubt could have overtaken him, but discipline kept him in the lab. Discipline kept the vision alive, and in the end, it wasn't brilliance that made the world glow. It was persistence. That same force is in you, but you have to call it out. You have to demand it from yourself. No more waiting for the perfect conditions. No more waiting until you feel like it. The man who wins is the man who acts regardless of feeling. Because feelings are fleeting, but purpose is eternal. When you build your actions around purpose, you gain access to a level of power most people never touch, because most people let their environment lead. You must let your mission lead, and that means you move forward, when it's hard, when it's heavy, when it hurts, because the goal is not just achievement, it's becoming. Don't just want to have more, become more. Become the type of person who no longer breaks under pressure but thrives in it. Become the kind of soul who looks adversity in the eye and smiles, knowing it's nothing more than a sharpening stone. You are either hardening or breaking. You are either rising or sinking. Every moment you are deciding, who am I becoming right now? It's not about yesterday. It's not about your past. Your past is a book of lessons, not a cage. Look at Abraham Lincoln. He failed in business. He lost multiple elections. He battled depression. But none of those setbacks defined him, because he refused to stop becoming. He became the man who held a nation together, not because he was born invincible, but because he chose to rise every time life tried to pull him down. You don't need a perfect life to live powerfully. You need a decision to rise, to fight, to grow, to become. That is what makes a soul unstoppable. And once you make that decision, you begin to understand that gratitude is not weakness. It is strength. Gratitude is not about settling. It's not about saying, this is enough. It's about saying, I see the good even in the fire. I find the lesson even in the loss. I use the pain even in the silence. Gratitude rewires the mind. It takes your attention off what's missing and puts it on what's possible. You cannot grow from bitterness, but you can grow from awareness. Awareness that everything that happens to you can either harden your heart or sharpen your edge. The choice is yours. So when things don't go your way, you don't fall apart. You adapt. The ones who win in the end aren't the ones who had the cleanest road. They're the ones who adjusted their sails when the winds changed. They're the ones who didn't panic when the plan fell apart. They built a new plan. They're the ones who said, this too will shape me. This too is mine to use. Because adaptability is power. And that power is inside you, waiting to be unlocked the moment you stop trying to control everything outside and start commanding what's within. Your habits, your thoughts, your responses, your attention. Your attitude, that's where the real war is won. You want to rise, then stop blaming and start building. Stop wishing and start working. Stop hoping and start hammering your soul into form. Every setback is a message. You're not done yet. There's still more inside you, more fire, more grit, more genius, and life will keep testing you until you become the one who can carry the dream. It's not just about reaching the dream, it's about deserving it. Because a weak version of you can't carry a powerful destiny, but the version of you who has bled, who has bent but never broken, who has stared into the storm and said, "Is that all you've got?" That version is ready. That version can hold the weight of greatness, so build him, forge her, become what you were born to become, and never look back.